Last week I was sitting beside you, against what was just the silence between our glares, your lips pursed in that shape I hate, like an upside-down heart separated by a void, a blackness that started out as a seed, but had grown to be a full bed of flowers. Not my favorite flowers. Your lips sat in their usual fashion, somewhere between disdain and the ability to leave me. I never liked flowers, or coffee for that matter. 2 sugars, please, you said as we moved along this invisible line that seemed to run parallel to the light that cast on the floor. I watched the image the sun made as it snuck between the taut, but just shy of being too small for the long, floor-to-ceiling windows. This imposter shade hugged the window like a wool sweater, accidentally washed and left to dry, yet determined to be worn. You were never good at words, never a prophet of expressions, but rather, the way you'd sip and stare into me was like a story that I wasn't ready to read. A crumb from the coffee cake we shared hung by an invisible thread on your lip as you reached to wipe the sleep from your eyes. I shivered as we shared that sharp crumb, like substance between our fingertips. And then that song came on, the one without words, but only subtle beats that evoked the words we had created to accompany it. Our eyes widened, but just barely, like 4 almonds hung in space, unable to blink. Our heads tilted to absorb the sound, your eyelids fell, but not enough to actually constitute a blink, a flicker, or any recognition of life between 2 people. Nervously, we took to our drinks to help resolve our inability to be honest. The coffee was dark, so dark it was almost opaque and heavy on the gut. It hit the sides of the chipped porcelain mug, making a discordant splash in tune with the vibration of the music against a sparse but worn table with 3 sugar packets under the left leg, furthest from my own. "How do you like your coffee?" the figure whispered. The question was repeated more than once in my direction behind a counter, just an arm's reach away, littered with coarse brown sugar that dissipated into a pool of stale, cool coffee. The granules bubbled and hissed, along with the words that were reverberating through speakers hung low so as to cause participants to inch closer to each other to hear the words. We both moved our mouths, but it was a silent kind. I could see the small webs of saliva that had formed in the tight corners of your mouth move with the gentle movements as you tried to sing for me, to make me stay. I woke up to stale coffee and a terrible sunburn. My unsteady hand made a mess of my wall as I poured lukewarm water that had been burrowing in my copper pipes for months into the muted, sienna-colored French press you bought me at the farmer's market last spring. The ordinary felt so unordinary without your breath on my forehead as we sat close in that confined 300-square-foot space with only an island, your t-shirt, and our stale breath between us. My home was like a stranger, a passage into a space that felt unfamiliar and terrifying. The last of your coffee lingered in my cup, leaving a mustache, a stain on my upper lip. The last sip.